backdrop today, Kings.
Oh, I know. It's beautiful. Are we live?
Yeah, we are live.
We are live! PI Live with the new background. Looks sexy as hell.
Yeah.
Jason Ashworth in the house. Sean Brace to my right. Obviously, a lot to get into tonight. A lot of Carson Wentz talk. Are the Eagles, do they still have a chance?
Oh, they got a chance.
Are you saying there's a chance?
I'm telling you there's a chance.
There's a chance. What do you think? Is there a chance?
We'll get into it.
Oh, yeah. That's going to
get into it.
That's going to be the first thing I think we get into. Let me just make sure we're good to go here, boys. As always.
Oh,
yeah, there's a chance. Yep. No, I just don't understand why it does that, but it's fine. Mm-hmm. I gotta get another camera, something, because the Facebook camera is tough to use. Let's see here. All right, let's get.
It should be a way that I can share your Facebook live stream, right?
Yeah,
like I can share it on my feed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
right,
tag them. And
yeah, and while you're over there, Jay, do me a favor. Tap the back of that. Just tap it so it focuses in. Yeah.
Sometimes it gets blurry and stuff.
Yeah, it's been doing that a lot lately. I'm trying to. Is it focusing in?
Blurred lines.
Yeah. Then come. Yep. You're good now. And the problem is, it's like sometimes it wants to work and then sometimes it doesn't. You're just like, I don't know.
It's finicky.
Yes. Gremlins in the system, as they like to say. So,
all right, so I can, if I go into yours, oh, bang, here it is. Go to timeline.
Yeah, we're going to get going in just 2 seconds. We just want to go ahead and share for everybody all that. Make sure we're all up on the same page. Good to go. Good to go.
Go ahead and hide that one. I know people try to post random stuff on your timeline.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, no problem.
All right, so if I go here.
I think it should be up there, right?
Bang, bang.
Boom.
Oh, hey.
Look how sexy that ball is.
Let's get hit like. I'm going to like my own stuff.
I like my own stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll like it later.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into a tough edition of PI Live, that's for sure, because, you know, it hasn't felt good in the last 48 hours, let's put it that way. I haven't been able to celebrate the division. I haven't been able to celebrate 11-2, victory over the Rams, who I thought was their toughest competition. I haven't been able to celebrate any of that, and I'm sure that these two gentlemen next to me and you people at home that are watching have been the same freaking way. So please hold up just a second. We are not going to go into, you know, Nicky Foles can do it for us off the top. Maybe at the end you'll hear that.
I don't know if we're going to hear it.
But right now, I need to get some stuff off my chest. First of all, Jason Ashworth in the building for Tony Cotillo this evening, and we got Adrian Fedku over there. Every Tuesday night we go live at 8 o'clock. And as you can see, we got the new backdrop over here. Joel Embiid staring down at you boys. Do you feel intimidated?
That's fire.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Bill Strobel is my man, my artist. We posted a bunch of stuff. And so if you need to get in contact with him, all the people out there, please do so.
Let me say this, too, because I saw what you posted online, right? And I saw the pictures, and it does not do it justice.
No,
in terms of what you see, the way it pops, the color, the detail to it, dude, it's absolute fire.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was about a year in the making, believe it or not. Not so much the whole project, but just getting him in here because that's how busy he is.
Well, let me get his info.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm doing my basement. I could use a little piece like this.
He's done stuff everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Linked, Citizens Bank Park, Philadelphia Stock Exchange, all that. Yeah, so he's all over the place, man, and great Philadelphia artist. And you know, the coolest thing was about it, Jay, was like, hey, here's a blank canvas. This is what I like. Oh, you like the same thing? Let's go.
Go.
Yeah.
Just do your work.
And he did.
I love it.
And it came out perfect. So it came out better than perfect, and I mean that. But we got a lot to get into, obviously. We're going to touch on a little bit of the AFC West. We're going to touch on the MVP race. I'm trying to squeeze in maybe a little something about Joel Embiid at the end, maybe a little Sixers talk.
Okay.
Phillies news as well we might end up getting into. But we normally try and keep it NFL football because that's what we love here. And it was tough, man. It was tough. So let's just go ahead and start off with the fact that the Eagles go out to the West Coast and pull out the victory. And, you know, before I could even be well, you know what? They were trailing that whole second half, basically. You know, they really were. And Foles, shout him out. He did everything he had to do. He didn't score any touchdowns, but he drove him down the field, got 2 field goals, right? 2 field goals to put him up. You know, so you got to give him some credit right there. They were battling back. Team tried to give it up with that punt block, but bottom line, the Eagles go out there, they win the division, and I don't know. I feel wrong. You guys tell me what's on your mind about this, but I can't get excited about this team just right now because Carson Wentz is out. It's done. It's over. He's done. Excuse me. He's over, and I can't get into my rah-rah or anything along those lines because that's all that's going through my mind is, damn, really? Like, are you kidding me? Week 14 and this happened? ACL? Like, not even a shoulder injury, not like a bruised hip flexor. No, ACL, done for season. Done. Over.
It was a freaky thing, too. He went and threw a 4th and goal touchdown on a torn ACL. That's incredible. We should be happy. Finally, the Eagles beat somebody on the road because obviously that's something that opposing fan bases have had against us all season long. Well, now all of a sudden you've got 4 wins on teams that are over 500. So we should be here. We should be glad. We should be happy. We won the NFC East, but we're grieving.
Yeah.
We're grieving.
It's a good word.
We're grieving hard.
It's a good word.
Happy for what, though? Like, because we've kind of been there, done that.
Yeah.
And I think for most of us anyway, I'm not happy, and it's frustrating for me. I get annoyed when I listen to sports talk radio or some of the Dreambirds, I guess we'll say out there, because I'm not after the NFC East. I'm not after winning regular season games. Our goal collectively is to win a Super Bowl. And anybody who – look, I get it. Okay, you could do worse from a backup quarterback perspective. There are plenty of other backup quarterbacks, unfortunately, that couldn't hold a candle to Nick Foles. That's not saying much, though, because he's a backup quarterback, and he's a backup quarterback for a reason. So – to me, anyway, the reason there was Super Bowl chatter is because you had an MVP candidate at your quarterback position, and now you're going to a backup, and that's okay. You can win football games with a backup. Look at Minnesota in Case Keenum.
Yeah.
You can win football games with a backup or a career backup, we'll say, if you excel at other areas. For example, the Minnesota Vikings are damn good on defense.
Strong.
Eagles have a solid defense, but they don't have the Vikings defense. Right? So to me, anyway, the reason you have 11 wins under your belt, the reason there are Super Bowl aspirations, the reason you're fighting for that number 1 seed is because of Carson Wentz. He's the difference maker. He is the reason you were able to overcome Jason Peters. He is the reason you were able to overcome Jordan Hicks and the litany of injuries that the Eagles have suffered so far. But because you had the difference maker, the X factor at quarterback in Carson Wentz, you were able to overcome that. And I get it's a good football team. It is a good football team.
Yep.
But you just lost the most pivotal piece to a good football team. Don't tell me that it's going to be status quo and you're just going to keep chugging along with this next man up mentality.
And it's not going to be.
Led the NFL in third down. You had a point in the season where you had 18 touchdowns and 20 red zone trips. That's because of Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So you go to Nick Foles now, and kind of what I was telling you right before we kind of had our show. So average game, you have about 5 scoring drives. So with Carson Wentz, he's pretty much putting up 4 touchdowns and a field goal each game. With Nick Foles, what's it going to be? 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals? And that might be putting it nicely?
Yeah, because Nick Foles...
So you go from scoring 31 points to maybe 23.
He's a serviceable backup who can win you a
you don't even think that.
He can win you a football game, but how many can he really win when you got a call on it?
And that's the trick. How many?
Yeah.
Again, you credit to the Eagles, first and foremost, credit to the Eagles for investing in a backup quarterback because any good team, you got to have a good backup quarterback, right?
Yeah.
For the just in case. But I think it's pretty well known that if you lose your quarterback, right, the minute you start talking about your backup quarterback for anything more than a game or two, if you start talking about your backup quarterback needs to win you playoff games, if you start that's okay, we've gone too far.
Yep.
At this point, we've gone too far. Again, unless you're one of those teams, the Baltimore Ravens of years past, whatever defensive team, the Tampa Bay, but whatever team you want to say had that game manager. Well, they also had an elite defense. The Eagles are a good defense, and we even saw it in L.A. They are not an elite defense.
Can they step up?
Can they? Sure. It's
possible.
They have to now.
It's possible.
they not only have to step it up 1 notch, 2 notches.
Yeah.
And the point he just made is what I've been saying on the Bitter Birds the last 2 days. this is not the 2000 Ravens defense, the 2002 Bucks. This isn't the Seahawks defense from a couple years ago, the Broncos. It's because I've heard maybe he can be like a Jeff Hostetler, or maybe he can be like a Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, everybody's got to grasp at something, and history, and hoping that it's going to repeat itself.
But this defense, how many Hall of Famers does it have? That's where you really got to come down to. Is it a Super Bowl caliber defense? Is it that elite that it can overcome an injury like Carson Wentz?
Yeah, and unfortunately from my angle is I don't look at defense saying they're going to save us. No, I still look at you got to score points when it comes to playoffs. We know about today's NFL.
You're gonna have quarterbacks. You got to match score for score.
Yeah, you got to sling it. And that was the beautiful thing about Carson Wentz was like you never felt out of a game, even when the Seahawks were up 14 points at the end of the fourth quarter with 6 minutes to go. You're like, anything's possible right here. We're all right,
Look at the playoff picture, right? And we're talking in complete theoreticals, obviously, because we don't even know how that's going to shape out. But if you look at the teams, the offenses that are in the playoffs or we think are going to be in the playoffs, you're telling me you're not concerned at any point that you don't think Matt Ryan can throw up points on a given day?
Stop it.
You don't think Drew Brees can throw up points on a given day, right? You don't think –
you're going to have to match them.
The Rams – they average over 30. I think they're like 30.1, but average.
They were tied. They were tied.
After last week, they'll be even higher at that point.
I think you're telling me the Rams can't put up points? Eagles will still be one.
Eagles will be higher, too. Yeah, they
Something
will.
Something to take home.
You got that W, right? Put that in your back pocket, buddy. Put that one in there. No, so my point is, and you're telling me Russell Wilson can't come in? Now, granted, a lot of these teams we're talking about play different on the road.
Yep.
All right, you get Drew Brees, Matt Ryan in the Dome. You get Russell Wilson out west. Okay, they're different quarterbacks. We understand that. But I'm just trying to – and that's why home field advantage is so important if you even want to have a conversation about the Eagles trying to win a playoff game.
Yep.
But I'm not going to rule out the fact that these guys can't come in here with their pedigree, that been there, done that. Matt Ryan MVP, Drew Brees MVP, Super Bowl champion, Russell Wilson Super Bowl champion. They have that pedigree where just because they're on the road doesn't mean they can't come out slinging. And I would expect them to do as much.
Oh yeah, you look at the Saints. The last time the Eagles made the playoffs, they played the Saints.
Hey, who's your quarterback?
Nick Foles.
How'd that go?
And you know what? He left the field with the lead that day.
He did. He scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. Nicky franchise.
That's my point. People want to – everything we're hearing right now. Look, I get it. He had a fantastic 2013. He really did. Was it 27-2? And I get that. As great of a season as that was, what did that lead to? First-round exit?
Yep.
Is that what we're after again?
No.
So, again, at the quarterback position, you can do worse than Nick Foles as a backup, but for me to this is not me being negative. For me to realistically sit here and tell you that I think the Eagles have a shot at winning the Super Bowl, I'm lying to you because personally, and I could be 100% wrong. I told my dad earlier today, I pray that I'm 100% wrong because he's all on board as most, and I get it, right? Because I'm complaining after 37 years of not seeing a Super Bowl, not getting a ring, right? That's even worse for him. And I feel bad for the older generations, and I understand that they have to hold on to something, and they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose that faith just yet.
It was ridiculous.
But I'm lying to you if I tell you I think
it's absolutely ridiculous, and it just feels like we're doomed again. And you were talking about it before, Jay. You were like, "Look, it reminds me of when T.O. got hurt," and I completely forgot about that. Like, that's a similar feeling. Even though you still felt good because the NFC was weak.
Correct.
Yes,
but ultimately,
the NFC isn't weak right now.
Yeah, the NFC is really good. I thought going into that Rams game that there were 6 teams that could legitimately give a shot.
Who would they even be favored against in a divisional round playoff game? They'd be favored against anybody. Because with Wentz, they're favored against everybody.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I still believe they'll be favored. I thought I saw something earlier that still had them favored, even if the Seahawks were to come in or the Vikings.
We ain't beating Seattle.
Like, what am I missing? Because you're right. There's still, I think, 12-1 Super Bowl odds. And I like to think of myself as, rather logical, right?
They are second.
What am I missing here? What is it that what am I not grasping?
Well, first of all,
for me to be not as confident
I would think the first and foremost thing that comes to my mind is the bye. Because now you're talking about 2 playoff games and then 2 wins. That's it, and you're in.
That's imperative. It's a
That's
must.
some odds.
If you want
That's some
any
odds.
chance, you have to get home field.
Yeah, and second thing, obviously, comes with that is home field advantage.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, loud, you own. But then again, the Saints just came in there and they won. Yeah,
and I agree. Let's say loud and you own the atmosphere, you own the environment. For how long? I mean, because if the offense ain't moving, if you ain't getting in the end zone. And they're able to stuff the ball down your throat, put up some points, and now you're trailing.
Yep.
How long is that environment yours? I'm not telling you that I don't think Nick can sling it because he's shown us time. In 2013, I understand, but even after 2013,
well, just look at last year with the Chiefs. You know, and I got the stats up in front of me, so I'm cheating here. But he started one game. He was 36 of 55.
Got the W too,
he played in 3 games. He played in 3 games.
55 pass attempts. That does sound like Andy.
36 of 55. Again, like I think Nick Foles can win you a game. Like I have them winning this week against the Giants. Yeah. I got them winning Christmas night against Oakland. Yeah. I don't know what Dallas and the final game of the season is going to mean.
Then that is most likely a first round.
Yeah.
That's a bye. So it's just whether you get that 1 or 2 seed. You win this week, you get the bye.
I think they'll get the 1.
So what you said, what am I missing? I think, you know what? There's a lot of stock that needs to go into that 1 seed. If you're the number 1 overall team in the playoffs, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I'm saying I think things change, and I'm not really feeling sorry for this squad.
What changes, though? Like if you were telling me that me being the 1 seed, the Eagles being the 1 seed, provided a favorable matchup for me. So I get it. You get to play at home, and that matters. But what's the matchup that 1 seed provides? You feel any more comfortable because you're the 1 seed and you get to play the Saints?
Well, let's put it this way.
You feel any more comfortable playing the Seahawks? You want to play the Panthers?
No.
You want to play the Falcons?
Yeah.
Who do you want to play the Rams? Who do you want to play?
Yeah, that's a good question.
The bottom line is I don't care if you're the 1 seed or not. I don't care if you're at home, on the road. I would rather have Carson Wentz and play on the road the entire playoffs.
Yeah, me too.
Nick Foles and rest my laurels on I got the 1 seed.
Me too.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I get it. The bye is the only reason that the bye is fun for me is because it's 1 more week I get to watch.
Yeah,
right. I don't have to worry about the Eagles losing opening round. Yeah, I will see them in the divisional round.
So should expectations change in your mind?
Yes,
they should change.
Yes,
you should tell the fans should calm down right now and say, you know what, whatever happens from this point on is gravy. We'll get them next year.
I mean,
at this point,
but that's me trying to be logical about it because. So often, and I understand that, but so often we create these scenarios, we create these expectations.
Who, us in Philadelphia?
And then we create hope. We create hope. Mm-hmm. That's what we do for it. Despite the facts and despite logic and despite reality saying, dude, you just lost your MVP quarterback, right? You just lost the difference maker, the reason you're 11-2. You just lost that. But that's okay. No, we're still going to the Super Bowl. And you wonder why people get crushed when they don't. Yeah. Because you set these unrealistic expectations and you don't change, you don't adapt, you don't realize the circumstances in front of you, and you just expect that doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. Reality doesn't matter. We're going to the Super Bowl. Stop it. I hope to God that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because it only benefits me if I am. I just don't see it.
No, and you don't have to host pep rallies before the damn game. I do. Think about how tough my job is.
Right?
I used to just have to say Carson Wentz and everybody go crazy. Now I got to go Nick Foles and Duck.
Yes.
Duck. And what? All right, so moving on, you said changing expectations. You made your point right there. Are we being fair to Nick Foles? That's my other question right now. Are we being fair to Nick Foles? This is a guy that's been in the league for a couple of years now. Obviously, he earned his spot on this roster. Doug said, they drafted him, right? He was part of the franchise the coach staff when Andy drafted him. Yeah. I know him. I can't, there was never a question about going out and getting somebody else. I would imagine they had that conversation, which I think they should, but ultimately, it's week 14. What are you going to do? You bring in somebody in that hasn't played all season? Yeah, I know everybody had the Kaepernick and the Romos.
The only other guy that really knows the system is Matt McGloin or Aaron Murray. You're not going to bring in a Kaepernick or something like that.
Hang on. So you just brought up Nate Sudfeld, right?
That's their
so I want to go to a segment by the name of Who the Fook is Nate Sudfeld?
I know he went to school at Indiana.
Oh, you knew that?
That's what I
got. You knew that? All right.
That's what I know.
Did you know that Indiana University, the Hoosiers, have frickin' been playing college football for 119 years and have only made a bowl appearance? Yep. Are you shitting me?
Wait,
hang on. I think
they've been to more than one.
No, I think it's.
Oh, okay.
I tweeted it out. I'm like, what? 11 times? Is there 8 or 11 times? I tweeted out. I apologize. It should be here, but yes,
this segment's going great.
Yeah, well, yeah. Who the fuck? Anyways, I think it's 8 damn times. 8 damn times in 119 years. You got problems with your program.
And I think a lot of that is recent because they haven't been.
And so then I Google who the hell was like their top quarterback of all time. No idea. Antoine Randall wasn't even listed, which he should have been.
He was a quarterback.
Yeah, he was a quarterback.
Yeah, he was.
But like top-notch quarterbacks, They got none. Never had anybody.
Well, that's why you don't go to the bowl. And that's also why you don't go to a Super Bowl if you don't have a top-notch quarterback.
That's true about that.
So let's just use Nate Sudfeld as our
Who the fook is Nate Sudfeld? Yeah, he was originally going to Arizona. He didn't go there because Mike Stoops got fired. They brought in Rich Rod, so that's how he ended up in Indiana.
He wasn't.
Drafted by the Redskins, 2016 6th-round pick. I have no idea who this guy is. He's 6'5". That's all I know. And you might not know who he is out there either. We're talking about the third-string quarterback that's going to get his number called if Nick Foles goes down.
Well, they liked him so much they wouldn't let the Colts claim him.
Correct. And I'll tell you this: when I was in Carolina for the Carolina game, and we were walking out, and we were on the field prior, just in warm-ups, and out comes this big lanky dude, and I'm thinking in my head, oh wow, okay, Foles is getting some work, right? And I'm with my buddy Goody, and we're looking, and I look over and I said, damn, this dude's. Foles is athletic. Like, I didn't realize Foles was this athletic. And I'm not, like, right up on him.
Yeah.
I'm probably 20, 30 yards away from him. And I'm just watching him saying, okay, like, how did I not see this before? And then as I got closer and closer, I realized.
It wasn't Nick Foles.
That's not Nick Foles, because guess who came out? Cement foot Nick Foles.
Yeah.
And then, that's the Nick Foles. Who the hell is that dude? So that's Sudfeld.
So Sudfeld was dressed up? Was he in
No, he was getting pregame reps just in his shorts.
Gotcha.
But you could just see.
But he looked good?
Oh, yeah. In terms of he has a lot of zip on the ball.
Right.
He looked really athletic, mobile in the pocket. Again, look, we all look good in shorts.
Yeah.
Right? I get all that. But I'm just saying.
I don't. Yeah.
I was really surprised. To answer your question, though.
Who the fook is Nick Sudfeld?
Nick Sudfeld.
And now we're Nick Sudfeld. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to say about, are we being fair? You asked the question, are we being fair to Nick Foles? And I think we are being fair to Nick Foles. I think what would be unfair to Nick Foles is for us to expect that he would come in and this team wouldn't miss a beat as we would with Carson Wentz.
That's pretty good.
Let me make a comparison, and probably a really bad comparison, but let's just make a comparison.
All right.
You have a good show here, right? You got a good setup.
Yeah.
Right? You got a nice studio.
You
got some quality mics. You got plenty of cameras around.
Talk more, please.
Right? You're doing the FaceTime Live. You got it all. You got it all set up now, right?
Thank you. Yep.
And all of that leads to a pretty nice program, right? Okay, well, I'm coming in here and I'm telling you, guess what, Sean? Nah, we're doing away with the FaceTime Live and no cameras. You still got a good show, right? You still got quality show. All right, we'll do. We'll make do. And then next week I'm going to come in and say, yeah, you know what? We're going to replace all your mics. And now you've got some spotty mics. They cut in and out. And, okay, the content's still there. It's a little hard to understand, but it's still a good show overall. And then the next week I come in and say, okay, you know what? You're not allowed to talk Eagles on your show. You just have to talk Flyers hockey. And you're saying, okay, look, dude, I get it. I can deal without the FaceTime Live. The mics suck, but now I can't even talk Eagles.
Yeah.
At this point, you don't have a good show anymore. And what I'm trying to say is you can deal with injuries. Right, you can so you can deal Jason Peters. That sucks, but we can get through that. We don't have Darren Sproles, and yeah, I really want Jordan Hicks, but okay, we can still get by with that. You lose Carson Wentz, and you no longer have content. You no longer have a show. If you can't talk Eagles, you don't have a show. You don't have your MVP quarterback. You don't have a team. I hate to say it, and I know it's a quality team, but at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, it's fair. It's all fair. I guess what would be the one thing that puts them over the top, that gets them there? And again, I think the NFC is going to be really tough, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's that hard to lump two wins together. I don't. I really don't. To win a Super Bowl? Whoa now. You're going to have to go tit for tat with Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Right.
Now with Nick Foles. You're not going to be able to do that unless
you
can sign some crazy-ass linebacker that just start busting heads. So that's not going to happen.
What percentage are we talking about here that they can get to a Super Bowl?
I want to win a playoff game.
Yeah, you got to win a playoff game.
I just want to win a playoff game.
But I was saying that with Carson Wentz, too.
Yeah, agreed.
I was like, whoa, I just want to win a playoff game.
Yeah. Like, me, I'm looking at the kids saying, you look really good. Right, and before the Rams game, after the Seattle loss, my mantra was for the entire team, but Carson specifically, because I hold a lot of that Seattle game on Carson.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
So I looked at Carson. I said, "All right, kid, show me, because if you want to be held in this breath, you need to show me." Okay, he showed me against the Rams.
And just so you know, the Rams game is on the TV behind us. It's on NFL Network.
Spoon my heart out.
Didn't show up. Todd Gurley was running all over us.
Yeah, I think we got to give them a little credit. I think the Rams are a really good team.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
They had the special teams gash us.
Yeah,
I was looking for the Eagles and Carson to show me. And part of that meant you're also going to have to show me that you can win in the postseason, because the regular season and the postseason are two completely different animals.
Yep.
And now we're going to ask that same task of a backup quarterback, right? So for me, I don't know what that difference maker is. I know that Doug's not going to change the game plan, I believe Doug when he says the game plan doesn't change. I don't know what the results are going to be. The game plan might not change. The results might change.
Well, what do you do different? Do you dial up Jay Ajayi more?
What I do is...
what do you do, Adrian?
Yeah, I get Jay Ajayi at least 20 carries. I'd start really getting
Jay Ajayi gets 20.
That's what I would do. But I see, all right, so you look at the statistics.
Well, you say that's what you would do. You don't think that Doug will do that, though?
I'm not sure if he will. I think he's going to, not that he's going to stay pass happy, but I think he'll keep the ratio that he has currently. But with Jay Ajayi, I want them to start 25 carries. I think that would be great.
Jay Ajayi at 25 carries?
Yes, I would pound the hell out of the rock. That's what I would do.
Well, so
you don't want to pound the rock.
No,
you don't want to play ball control.
Not what I'm saying. No. Okay. Hang on. I'm just trying to be realistic here. He did get 15 carries against the Rams. All right. Yeah. So 20 is right there. I think you're right. 25, I would say, no, hell no. He's not, no shot.
Unless you're telling me that Blunt and Clement are just sitting on the bench.
True.
Not getting any.
Well, what I'm saying is my suggestion, but I don't know if Doug's going to do that.
That's fine. Oh, yeah.
But I'm thinking like 20 for Ajayi, and then you split Clement and Blunt.
LeGarrette basically split, and Clement, they got 7 and 6.
So you ride the offensive line, which has been a huge strength all year. Run blocking has been tremendous. It does hurt. I don't know what's going on with Wiz. Is he out
day to day?
Which
look, now you're telling me that Vitai's got to be next to Sayamalu or Warmack. Take your pick.
Well,
I don't care.
Look what happened with Big V, because last week he got beat by Frank Clark. This week he got beaten inside again, but he didn't have the help from Wiz. Right. So that's what that.
Well, I would tell you. Here's what I also say. This I think they're going to have their way with the Giants. So maybe 25 carries isn't that far-fetched.
So that's what I was going to say in terms of what does Doug do. I think Doug will continue to do what he's been doing, and that's try to isolate whatever matchup he can. And against the Giants, I could see them trying to run the ball or trying to establish that. Let Nick kind of find his way in the game, kind of lean on the running game a little bit. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the recipe for success like a lot of people. I think a lot of people right now are just assuming that, oh, yeah, well, they're just going to run the ball and rely on their defense. If that was the strength of the team, they would have been doing that all year. The strength of the team wasn't simply running the ball and relying on your defense. The strength of the team was being aggressive, pushing the ball downfield, putting up points. That's what this team was good at. You're asking them to completely change their DNA, to completely change their mantra or what they do. 40-yard line, opponent's territory, 4th and 3. Doug's going for it. We know that. Well, is he now?
Not anymore.
Is he now?
No.
So is he all of a sudden not aggressive? I would like to think that he would stay aggressive, but it may not make sense to stay aggressive anymore.
And that's the things that we're not thinking about right there.
The reason why
exactly.
I want to run the ball a lot is because I want it to be like the Vikings and giving Case Keenum manageable third down situations. So for Nick Foles, you get a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. It's a lot easier to convert, obviously, than a 3rd and 7. If you run the ball 1st and 2nd down, you pick up maybe 4 or 5 yards.
I know we love talking about this Case Keenum and stuff,
I think Case Keenum is a product of the running game of Minnesota.
Well, here's what I would tell you: I've only watched 2 or 3 Minnesota games, and all I know is he is dink and dunk, screen pass,
yes,
and they don't put him in situations that he can lose.
It's Dak Prescott from last year to me. When
I would even say it's not worse. It's just a little bit more protected.
Yeah,
protected than Dak was.
He's protected because of his defense, but he's got Thielen and Diggs who are legitimate weapons on the outside.
I just watched
he finds him in space,
but they don't give him an opportunity to hit them downfield either.
They'll give him a couple post corner routes, but nothing like crazy like that.
Case Keenum is 12th overall as far as yards are concerned.
Yeah, they'll run a lot of shallow crosses too,
and that's what I mean. He finds them in space and kind of lets them do their work,
and that's how he gets all the yards. Yeah. Is the receivers do the
touchdowns? Work. He's tied for 14th with Jay Cutler and Derek Carr. Shout out Jay Cutler with a big win last night.
Yeah,
jeez, if Miami played like that all season long, they would shit.
What? How? And I don't get that too. How does Miami just pull a Patriots win out of their ass? Like once every 2 years, they knock the Patriots off.
Is it possible the Pats are looking ahead? Looking ahead to the Steelers?
7-8 at Miami.
How does that happen?
First of all, the first thing that comes to my mind is 15 total games at a stadium. Like, that is just incredible.
Right.
That's number one. I know it's Tom Brady. Yeah, longevity. Yeah. But 2 is he's 7 of 8. I don't know. Maybe he goes out Miami. Maybe Giselle's out all night. She comes in late, bothers him. I don't know. But he struggles in Miami, 7 of 8. And he was off last night. You know what pisses me off? Hang on. We're going to get back to the Eagles just 1 second. How come Tom Brady can't have a bad game?
Right?
How come when Tom Brady has a bad game, it's like, oh my God, Father Time's catching up to him.
Yeah,
it's over.
True.
Like, dude, are you kidding me?
Isn't that a testament to just how good the dude is?
He had a bad game.
He's the model of consistency for however many years has a bad game. The world thinks we think the world's fallen.
He's done. Miami won that game. Tom Brady was, skipping the ball to a couple receivers. It's over. No, you know what's going to happen? They're going to whoop Pittsburgh's ass next week. Watch.
About to catch lightning.
They're going to whoop Pittsburgh's ass. All right, so we got the case, Keenum, and we're going to come back to the Eagles in just 1 second. Speaking of that, let's move on to this conversation. Sure. MVP, because obviously, from my opinion, I thought that Wentz, it was between Wentz and Brady, but now without Brady, without Wentz and Brady, who knows what's going to happen down the stretch. My question is simple. If you're not going to give it to a receiver this year by the name of Antonio Brown, does the receiver ever have a chance of winning the MVP?
Nope.
Is it just a quarterback
Calvin
award?
Johnson, 2012, 1,964 yards.
And didn't win.
Didn't even win it.
If you're not a running back or a quarterback, it's not an award for you.
And that's so wrong.
I know.
Like, Antonio Brown is balling. Yeah. That dude is unstoppable.
How did J.J. Watt not win it?
True.
Right? Again, because if you're not a quarterback or you're not a running back, I don't care who you are, you will not get the award primarily.
And it's funny. It goes back to 2008. Brad Lidge was perfect that year.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. If you're not going to give it to a closer who was perfect, the Cy Young Award, when does anybody ever have a chance of winning that award? Because he was perfect. He was lights out Lidge.
Give it to Eric Gagne one year.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When he was disgusting. But I just, loosen it up, man. Who cares? Give it to Antonio Brown. The guy is unstoppable. And they know he's getting the pass, and Ben deserves a lot of credit this year, in my opinion.
I thought he was done too.
Holy shit!
Didn't we write him off early in the season,
dude?
After the loss to the Jags, I think it was.
And that goes into the point of where I was like, can Tom Brady have a bad game? Everybody wants to be. It's like that's it. It's the end all or be all. If you follow me on that, like Ben Roethlisberger will never be better than Tom Brady. We understand that, but he can never get his props because of that.
Right.
Like Ben Roethlisberger is amazing, dude. He is absolutely amazing.
And look at how he is, and we say that without blinking now. But I remember back in 2006. Right, when he was a rookie in 05.
04, right? He came in the draft.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 06, right? But his rookie year, didn't he go 15-1?
He did,
I think, primarily running the ball, and it was just defense and Bettis, defense and Bettis, defense and Bettis. And that's all he did. We looked at him and said, game manager. The guy's a bum. And he doesn't push the ball down the field. He's not going to win in the NFL long term. And how he adapted his game to now sling it. Only quarterback in NFL history to have 3 games of 500 yards passing.
Sick.
Completely re-identified himself. And I mean, that's the growth and maturation process of a quarterback. Yeah. But just to your point, we don't even blame. I remember how we first initially looked at this guy in the league, at least how I looked at him in the league, and how I look at him now, which is night and day.
Which is why we sparkle about Carson Wentz, because this is his second year. Look what he's already doing.
Yeah, absolutely. PTI, a close comparison.
And PTI today was talking about, because both these guys are hurt, and I get it, Deshaun Watson or Carson Wentz. And Kornheiser, I don't know. I mean, to tell you the truth, I think these guys they watch whatever they want. They mail it in. They're legendary. They're getting their $1 million check at the end of the year. Whatever they watch. Whatever.
I'll tell you whatever you want me to tell you for $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be a puppet.
But he's like, I don't get the electric factor when I watch Carson Wentz. I'm like, in my mind, I just think about
you're not watching Carson.
Yeah, you're not watching Carson Wentz because I can think of 3 runs this year that he just disappeared on 3rd down and totally won the game because of that. Just disappeared. And next thing you know, he's picking up the 1st down. It's like, that was electric. Deshaun Watson's amazing. The guy's incredible. I don't know how he lasted on the draft board that long, but Carson Wentz is I don't even think it's a question. I'd take Carson Wentz all day. All day.
And you just see a mixture of all these different quarterbacks in him too. You know, the pre-snap of Peyton Manning. You got the mobility of Aaron Rodgers.
I just see Aaron Rodgers.
The toughness of Ben Roethlisberger.
And it like, I've never been like that. But I see Aaron Rodgers, and I see a difference maker, and I see a guy that can roll out.
It's like Rodgers and Big Ben in the one. That's kind of what it is.
It's not to take anything away from Watson. All right, because again, like you were talking about with Brady and Roethlisberger, just because we know Brady's the best doesn't mean that Roethlisberger isn't a damn good quarterback. And just because I think Wentz is a better quarterback doesn't mean I don't think Watson's going to be a good quarterback. But I think the thing with Wentz, and I think the thing, again, that the Eagles are going to miss is just you can't quite put your finger on it, right? He's just special. He's just different. And I don't care how good the team is around you. You don't have Wentz in the game. Just naturally, you are going to take a step back for all the third down conversions you talked about. He's got, I mean, his third down conversion rate is obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting. Stupid. You're not supposed to be able to do that on third down. Third and long, no less.
And it's third and long, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, there's just something about the kid that's special, whether it's using his feet, whether it's making throws down the field, whether it's third down conversion rates, whether it's his guts, whatever you want to pinpoint it on, the kid is just special.
Incredible. And speaking of special, I'm trying to find Joel Embiid, whether or not he's playing today, because there were some up and downs.
Special guy.
Another special guy. Absolutely. We got two of them in here. The franchise changers, cornerstones.
I'm kind of creeped out.
Yeah, he's staring at you.
I feel like he's eyeing me.
He might take you down.
Swap me.
Supposedly he's going tonight, but there was a report that said he's a game time decision. Well, somebody spoke to Brett Brown before the game and said he's a game time decision. So we'll see. I mean, again, problem is that he was hurt for 2 seasons, and everybody's freaked out, and everybody expects him to be hurt. So when he gets a bad back and he misses a game, everyone's assuming the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many text messages
That's
I got?
A slip disc.
Yeah.
It's a sore back.
Everybody's like, you jinxed him.
He's 7'2". Relax. He's going to have a sore back.
You put him on your wall and he's done. I'm like, I did? The guy's been battling the injury bug his whole freaking career. Don't tell me I did. So we'll see. It looks like he's going. TJ McConnell's going once again, 9:30, Timberwolves and Sixers tonight. Hopefully they could bounce back. Have they lost 4 straight?
5, I think.
5?
Is that what it is? I think, or maybe this would be 5 straight.
Oh my goodness! Hey, whoa! They're going to win tonight.
I'm just saying theoretically with a loss.
4.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go with 4. Let's stay positive.
Let's stay 4. Exactly.
Can we do that for the first time all show?
Hey, I'm still believing, man.
Trust the process.
No. Here's what I would tell you.
Sell me, because I want to get on that train.
I can't sell you a Super Bowl win.
What can you? Well,
I could sell you.
Then I'm off.
I could sell you a Super Bowl trip.
So you still think that?
Yeah.
Didn't we? And that's where respectfully, I feel like we're saying it just to say it, because in the first half of the conversation, we kept talking about how good the NFC is.
Yeah.
And the quarterbacks that they're going to see, or the defenses they're going to see, but all of a sudden we're just saying, none of that matters. Still going to Minnesota.
I think that again. I just feel like, all right, you're going to play Minnesota. Do you really have to match Case Keenum? You know what I mean?
No, you got it. You have to try to put up points on that defense,
and that defense is amazing.
That game has nothing to do with Case Keenum and everything to do with the defense.
Went down to Atlanta, held them to 9 points. Absolutely,
yeah,
I agree. It's a really good defense. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm selling you on it. I'm selling you on that.
I'm just going to hand the ball off to Ajayi 25 times against Minnesota. That'll do it.
I think Doug needs to get a little love. Doug has been drawing up some decent game plans. Agreed. Of course, Carson Wentz, your quarterback, makes things a hell of a lot easier.
Doesn't it, though?
But what my main thing is this. 2 games get you into the Super Bowl. They're both home. You got 3 games to get ready for the playoffs. You know, I think there's some things working in the Eagles' favor. Can I sell you a Super Bowl victory? Hell no. Can I sell you a trip to the Eagles or to the Super Bowl? Yeah, I can.
I wish you could just tell me. So, and again, I'm talking through this. All right, you guys are my therapist, and you're going to help me.
No,
through
yeah.
this,
Start the clock.
There's a couple things going in the Eagles' favor. I'd love to know what one of them is. Take home field advantage.
Home field advantage. All right. Bye week. They got one bye. They're off.
I'll try.
So I'm on the couch.
Are we encouraged? Are we encouraged by what we saw out of the defense after Wentz went out?
Sure.
Are they going to continue playing at that level?
What, in the fourth quarter?
They rose up to the occasion.
Got a couple big stops when they needed to.
Yeah, Chris Long with the strip sack.
Yeah.
And then you had a 3-and-out after a field goal.
Right.
So that was huge for them.
No doubt. You're right.
Because they were getting whipped all game.
All right, that's fair to say. I just look at it as like it's the fourth quarter. It's go time. You know, I feel you there. No, please. I'm sorry. I'm stepping on you. Keep going. Sell us.
Starting to sweat again.
Well, the article that I'm going to write tonight, I want to, they're going to try and be like Jacksonville, Minnesota, I think. I'm going back to the Ajayi thing.
Yeah.
So now the problem is they don't have the same defense as these teams.
Right.
But you can potentially have a Case Keenum situation. Again, this goes back to my argument. So you run the ball, you control the clock, you play like 8 possessions, and you just limited.
But that's what I mean. That's, to me, anyway, that's putting it in a vacuum as if, oh, well, just
You're playing too
why don't we
scared.
just say, well, if you just score 6 touchdowns a game, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're going to do. They're going to score 6 touchdowns a game, and then we're going to make our way.
Yeah.
To say they're just going to run, in my opinion, they're just going to run the ball and control the clock and lean on a defense. It isn't the greatest, but good enough to win games. To me, is acting as if, well, okay, if I'm the Giants or if I'm Oakland, well, let's just take the regular season out of it, okay? So let's go right to the postseason. If I'm New Orleans or if I'm the Rams or if I'm Seattle or whoever they wind up facing in the second round, assuming a bye. What, I don't know that? I don't know that your game plan is you're going to try and run the ball on me. I'm not going to stack 8 in the box
Foles
and
have to
make
make throws.
you beat me.
Foles has to make throws.
Has to.
Yeah.
And I like Foles. I read a great article today that really broke down Foles, and I agreed with so much of it. It was on Bleeding Green Nation. And it was, I'm good with Foles pre-snap. He's a veteran. Okay, and he's been in this offense, and it's what he does. And pre-snap, I like what Foles is able to do. But Foles is off. He's also, we've seen this, he tends to lock on. He's a first-read guy. And if that first read isn't there, I don't trust him to progress through his reads. I don't trust him post-snap to read his keys. And if you're going to run an RPO offense and your key is a middle linebacker or whatever, if he's coming downhill and you want to pull it back and hit a slant route, I don't trust him to be able to do everything pre-snap, which I know he can do the pre-snap stuff. But once the snap happens, once the game happens, I don't trust him to get off that first read. I don't trust him to then, while processing that, reading his key and understanding, am I handing it off? Am I hitting the slant? So that's where I struggle with Nick Six, and we've seen it where he gets those skittish feet. And then what should be a 3-step, 5-step drop turns into a 10-step drop because he's just running backwards.
Now he's rolling right. Yep.
I've seen it. We've all seen it. So that's what scares me a little bit about the idea of Foles in the playoffs. And I think defensive coordinators, to their credit, understand that.
They're ready
and are going to exploit it. That's what scares me about just run the ball.
10 of 14, 71% completion percentage. He finished the game. Once again, he got 6 points. Right? Did he get more? So he got the 2 field goals. He drove us in.
Is he going to be able to score touchdowns? That's the thing. Yeah, is it going to be field goals or is it going to be touchdowns?
We're acting like this red zone efficiency is just going to continue with a different quarterback.
It's not.
No.
Not without Carson.
Why have the Packers skipped a beat?
No.
Because Brett Hundley is not Aaron Rodgers. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And Brett Hundley was a guy who got a lot of props coming out. And they said, you know what, this kid's special.
I liked him.
I did too. And I still do. I get it. You need reps and you got to learn the game. And
he might be a starting quarterback next year somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know what his contract is, but yeah. I mean, if a lot of people are going crazy over him. You
have a lot of time left.
Garoppolo. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's got the Garoppolo feel.
If you can get something for him, maybe you do something like that.
And shout out Jimmy Garoppolo getting that victory. Damn. All
Two.
right.
Two.
Did he win
back
two
to back?
times? Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
I mean, he doesn't necessarily. He's not lighting it up. The Texans, I think, are the 26 or 27 pass defense. He scored 1 touchdown with him. So, I mean, I'm not trying to get hype on him.
He looks good, though. He looks good. Yeah,
good for him, man.
Shout out Jimmy. But Nick Foles, that's our guy that we're riding with him. And God forbid if we got to go to who the fuck is Nate Sudfeld? Once again, I had to Google him. I was like, wait, our third string is who? I had no.
You don't want Tony Romo? You don't want to sign Colin Kaepernick?
Well, I think no.
Come on, that's your boy.
No, I think
it's too late in the process to bring them in.
Man,
they don't know.
Because you got to ask yourself this. I know you're busting stones, but you like, okay, you bring these guys in. They haven't played a lick of football. You got to get them in football shape. Yeah. So what? They get in football shape 2 weeks from now.
Right.
So now you're going to throw them into the playoffs. Right. That sounds like a great idea.
Exactly. I laugh when I hear
that. Sounds like a great plan. I'm like, wait a minute. Whoa. Hey, look.
It's the Madden generation. You know, if I can do it on Madden, I can do it in real life. It doesn't work that way.
Well, it's like everybody that was saying that, though. And I know Colin Kaepernick is more of a there's more to him than just on the field, obviously.
I want no parts of that right now.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's no reason to do it, you know? I was banging the drum for him to get an opportunity when there was 11 quarterbacks on every team in June, July, and August.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not give this guy a shot?
Correct.
You know, and then you deal with it with your fan base, and then you go through it. We went through it with Vic. I was in the middle of everything. The NAACP protest, all that. I was down there for that. You got to get through that. Those are your stepping stones. You can't bring a guy like Kaepernick in week 14 before the playoffs start. No. And it makes no sense. Anyways.
The one thing the Eagles have right now is chemistry in the locker room.
True.
I'm not bringing a media circus. I'm not bringing anything to disrupt that.
Agree,
not that chemistry in the locker room wins you football games, because ultimately it doesn't. Talent wins football games. Game plans win football games. Chemistry can be a difference maker, but you have to have A and and B before you worry about C.
Agreed with that. I just want to give a little love to Jess Skaversky on his tweet about, just so you know, did you guys know? Yeah, this was I just hit the button. But anyways, did you guys know? Believe it or not, Nick Foles has better stats than Carson Wentz over their first 24 games.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Pretty funny.
Great.
It's pretty funny to read that.
I heard that earlier today. It's like through the first 24. Yeah, he does. He has a higher completion percentage.
He's got a lot.
More touchdowns.
More wins.
And
INTs.
more pass yards.
Well, no, the best is Skaversky threw this tweet out, and he there was more wins and then less losses. Yeah, you think?
Right.
But we had to put that little total there, you know.
And you know what? They both have 0 chips. So I don't care who had the better season. At the end of the day, a historical season. Look, Nick Foles has his jersey in Canton.
Yes, he does.
For throwing 7 touchdown passes.
Against the Raiders.
Okay? And ultimately, that amazing
How many times was that brought up on
got
Sports
nothing.
Talk Radio today?
What
his jersey's in Canton, Mike.
Can you name all the quarterbacks that have thrown for seven touchdowns?
Him and Peyton Manning, right?
Oh God, no! There's like 7 of them.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a lot.
I know.
It's
It's a great trivia question. I don't even know them all,
Yeah.
but I will say 2 of them are Eagles.
Jeez, 7 touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
McNabb throw for 7? No, I was going to say, I don't think McNabb
Not
ever
Sonny
threw for 7.
Jurgensen.
I think he's on there. I think
Is
Sonny
he?
might be on the list.
Is that the second one you're talking
just
about?
made the
No. And that, but he is not the second Eagle.
Did Jaws throw for 7?
No.
Jaws would sling it.
And you
Norm
have to-
Van Brocklin.
Nope.
Damn it.
And you'd have to fact check me on the Sonny Jurgensen one. Too.
Okay.
Definitely not with the Eagles.
Go ahead. Tell me.
It's Adrian Burke.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Jesus.
Adrian!
Exactly. That's the only way I remember it. That's how I remember it.
Yeah. We'll have to dig that one up a little later.
It's a great trivia question.
Yeah, it is a great trivia
You can
question.
pull that one out in the bar, courtesy of me.
I love
All
it.
right, so something I wanted to ask you, because we're talking about the 8 men in the box and all that. So do you think the offensive line is good enough to handle 8 men in the box?
I think the right side is.
Yes, I agree with that. Because you look at Dallas' situation last year. Obviously, not the same O-line, but even with 8 men in the box, they were still able to successfully run the ball.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 almost.
Yeah.
I think I like the right side of the line from a run blocking perspective. I'm good. Well, I'm just good with the right side of the line. Period.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you ask Jason Kelce to fire off, and you're not talking about stretch, he's not pulling anything. You're literally just firing off. Okay, well then that's where, unfortunately, sometimes he tends to get on skates. Again, he's having a great season this year, so I don't want to take anything away from him.
You got to get him on the boundaries.
But if I'm changing the DNA again, and I'm saying this is what we're going to do moving forward, well, that doesn't necessarily suit Jason Kelce's strength. How you've utilized him this year in the game plans and your RPO offense, okay, that fits Jason Kelce a little better than just trying to run the football manage the clock.
I think it would be a lot of outside zone sweeps. That's what they would do.
And believe it or not, that actually favors Sayamalu from the guard position because he's a much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker.
Oh,
so,
yeah. We saw that this year.
Right? Ain't that the truth?
4 sacks allowed.
So that's kind of where I don't know what to expect. And I would like to think, or I guess I expect Doug to be Doug and act status quo, next man up. That's what they've said. And
next man up. Hit the cliche.
And he stayed true to that. Credit to Doug when they say next man up and the game plan doesn't change. He has shown that that's the truth. That regardless of who's in there, we're doing us.
Andy Reid has always done that too.
Sure.
Jeff Garcia.
Sure.
AJ Feely.
And that's
Corey
across
Detmer.
the board with all players.
Yeah.
That's
what you
when
have to
Vaitai
do.
got in there, it's not like he threw Selleck over to his side and said, we're going to go stacked on the line. He put him out there.
He was going one-on-one.
Absolutely. So,
this team's been
status
through
quo.
a lot. As I pull up the list, you got Peters, Hicks, Sproles, Sturgis, Pumphrey, Maragos, Sidney Jones went down. We can count him, whatever.
That's cute. I just put Pumphrey in there.
Well,
Of all the names you just said, you threw Pumphrey in there. And I like Pumphrey. I do. I wanted him. I was excited about it. I just thought that was...
well, I didn't even know who the hell these last 3 guys. Randall Goforth, Aziz Shitu,
defensive tackle.
and Dom Williams.
Donnie Williams.
This is Dom Williams.
Dom?
Dom, D-O-M.
I said Donnie.
Yeah, I don't even know who those guys
I
are.
don't know who Dom
But put them
Williams
on the list. It sounds good.
Yeah.
No, this team's bounced back. And you know, and I mean this. You hear about linebacker from Dallas,
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee. You hear how they haven't been able to recover, and it's all true.
Yeah.
But guess what? Jordan Hicks was pretty damn good himself. Was he Sean Lee caliber? No. But he's a darn good middle linebacker who you can count on to make plays. bounce right back. Jason Peters, Hall of Famer. Granted, don't get me wrong, replacement hasn't been the best, but bottom line is they moved on.
If I would have told you, if we want to stay positive and just put a nice little bow on this team, if I would have told you preseason, heading into game one, if we were to just rattle off who we thought the top 10 most strategic, important, valuable, whatever you want to classify it as, the top 10 most important players to this team, arguably, and in no random order, you'd probably say names like, Carson Wentz. You'd say Jason Peters. You'd say Fletcher Cox. You'd say Jordan Hicks.
Malcolm Jenkins,
absolutely. So you go down that list, and I'm telling you, and at the time, there was no Ajayi.
No.
We didn't know what Blunt was going to be, right? And there was people even talking about he spent. So you'd probably put in a thin backfield, you'd probably put Darren Sproles in that top 10 in terms of strategic to the team and what they do.
Yep.
Four of them are gone, guys, and they're still sitting at 11 wins.
And
it's impressive.
Who probably is their best player in offense is Nelson Aguilar.
Most dynamic right now.
He's incredible.
Here's what
I'm still not comfortable throwing him the football every time.
I am. I've always been an Aguilar fan. Here's what I'm.
He just never finished.
He never was able to finish.
But whenever he caught the ball, he does have.
Oh, he's so fast.
He's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Gone.
And I don't know what to think about this because when I look at what did Carson Wentz do with the weapons? What is Nick Foles going to do with the weapons? One thing I like about Nick Foles, and especially if we look back to what he did in 2013 with guys like Riley Cooper, let him go get the ball. Just throw it up and let him go get the ball. That bodes well for a guy like Alshon Jeffrey. It really does.
Oh, yeah. He might actually throw the back shoulder ball better than Wentz.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
What I want to see him do, and he missed 3 distinct opportunities against the Rams in a short period of time, is he had 3 under routes, 3 crossing routes to Nelson Aguilar, wide the hell open. I'm talking, and that goes into my earlier point where I say I don't necessarily trust him to get through his progressions. Because if he hangs tight in there, Nelson clears.
Yeah.
There's 3, I don't want to say walk-in touchdowns, but big gains where Nelson's in the slot, gets a rub route, clears through, and he's wide open. And all Nick has to, so coaches see that, right? And they'll talk to him this week, and I'm sure they're going to game plan for it or try to design for it. But I'm real interested to see one way or another how Nick Foles tries to take advantage of a guy like Nelson Aguilar if he can get him underneath, get him the ball in space, and then let him do the work.
Yep.
Get the ball to your playmakers. Let them do the work. That's all we're asking from you.
I think that would be the most common sense way of going about it for this game is like find your guy.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to lock on him, but, good things will happen if you put the ball in Nelson Aguilar's hands right now.
I agree.
Which is incredible to say that because it's not what we were saying at the beginning of the season, that's for sure. But the last 2 games, 15 catches. Obviously, he had the 7 for 141 against Seattle, 8 for 64 last week against the Rams. We're talking 23 targets in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's your go-to guy there.
He had a little bit of a lull, but he's really bounced back last 2 games. Like
he has. But just, because previous to that, it's like 6, 5, 4, 3, whatever, like targets-wise. These last 2 games, they've been making an effort to get him the football, which is a
make
good
more
thing.
of an effort now.
I agree. Get the ball in your playmakers' hands if you need these guys to go out there. Zach Ertz, hopefully, is back there. I just want to tell a quick story if I could. I know you guys don't give a damn about my fantasy team. I messed up. Bad.
I'm still alive.
Are you?
Yeah. I got Antonio Brown.
What'd you do?
So it was Gronk. He got suspended. He's my tight end. And it's the first week of the playoffs. I was so close to getting a bye. Didn't get a bye. I picked up Julius Thomas, and I picked up Trey Burton.
Oh, you started Julius Thomas.
Well, no, hold up. I did. But hold up. I just want to be honest. I want to be honest with people. I make mistakes too. So I went out for the Man U game at like 11 o'clock.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
So, we were just, and then Man U coughs it up, and it's 3 o'clock, and I'm shit-faced, all right? I'm just like, let's go Eagles! And I didn't check anything, but my plan was, no Zach Ertz, I'm playing Trey Burton. Yeah. I didn't. And I lost.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something different.
Oh, no, that was it.
You didn't play either of them. You kept Gronk in there.
Oh, no. I would have been better off.
Got too drunk.
Julius got 3 points.
He had
3 points.
Oh,
so I had Amendola. I was down 25 points. I had Amendola going and then Julius Thomas. And if I would have just played Trey Burton, I would have been fine.
You know what I'm curious about with Trey Burton? Moving forward. And I know Zach Ertz is coming back, and that's great. And obviously he'll be a good weapon for him. But on the second team, getting all your reps, Nick Foles has a chemistry with guys like Trey Burton.
True.
There you go.
He's got a chemistry with one of my guys, Mac Hollins. Ooh. I would not be surprised to see Mac Hollins on the field a little more because they've got that chemistry.
We've been calling
I like
for
Mac
that for
Hollins. Yeah, so you like him too.
He was
out.
He was out in the field a lot against the Rams.
Yeah, rightfully
Dropped
so.
the pass, unfortunately.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was.
At least
a tough
he
one.
knows it. Like I get it. You're going to have drops, right? He knows it, and he strikes me as the type of kid to kind of get that stuff corrected.
Yeah.
I would like to see Mac Hollins on the field a little bit more, and hopefully, if there is something good to come from this, it's that Nick Foles can get him the ball, and we can see what we got moving forward.
Torrey Smith had the best game of his season.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah.
Where did that come
from?
11 targets for Torrey Smith in a very, very odd way.
Torrey,
in
6
a game
for 100.
where the Eagles get their 11th win of the season, and number 11 goes down. Alshon Jeffrey has 11 targets. Torrey Smith has 11 targets. Nelson Aguilar has 11 targets.
Look at you.
But on the 11th, we find out it's a torn ACL.
Yep.
A lot of ones.
And Corey Clement had his longest rush.
That was off the dome.
Corey Clement,
awesome.
his longest rush was for 11 yards too.
Whose?
Corey Clement.
Was his longest rush was 11 yards?
11 yards.
Dude,
There's so much 11 up
that's
there.
what we do.
Is the Super Bowl on February 11th?
It might be. I don't know. I had somebody tell me.
Like the 8th.
I had somebody tell me they can't.
Right.
He goes, I just canceled my trip to Minnesota. The guy said
Smart.
it to me. I'm like, you really booked it? Like, really? You booked that? I'm like, all right.
Put a tattoo on his shoulder.
Well, you're right about that. You can go ahead and put that tattoo for 2018. Let's do that. All right, let's do that. All right, we've been wrapping about 53 minutes here. We like to keep it for an hour, so there's some small things I wanted to. Adrian, I want you to do this because I talked to Jason about this already. So I want you to do this. I want you to think to yourself right now. This is good pre-show talk. We didn't do this. Gerald Henderson, Tyler Hansborough, Duke, UNC, they created a podcast called Tobacco Road. Those are rivals.
Yeah.
Did you know that Duke and UNC, they don't like each other?
Yes.
Those are rivals. They created a podcast together.
History there.
Yeah, there's history there. There's history there. Yeah. A little bit. I want you to come up with two rivals that you would love to hear come up with do a podcast together. Two rivals, do a podcast together. Could be anything. I don't give a damn if it's sports, social, culture, whatever. I don't care if it's Trump versus Obama. That would be interesting. I'd be in for that, actually. But, yes, so you go ahead and
honestly, the first thing that came in my mind was...
But I want you to keep that to yourself for right now.
Because
we're going to keep on moving here for just a second, all right?
It's called a teaser?
Yeah, we got a lot of things we got to talk to. So in the next 10 minutes, we're going to hit a little rapid fire. AFC West, boys, let's go there. What the frig is going on? Kansas City Chiefs. Hot! The Chiefs looked amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody was going nuts. And then I said Alex Smith was the top 5 quarterback. Ever since then,
you the mush.
I am the
mush.
I am the mush.
Right?
I'm sorry, JoJo.
You want to talk about 8 minutes?
It was Carson Wentz here Sunday morning, and then Sunday night, they got it covered up with Joel Embiid.
There you go.
So tell me, the AFC West ends up how? What do you got?
I got the Chargers. I really like the way
Wow.
they're playing.
And the Chargers started what?
0-4.
0-4, and you got them winning the division.
They're tied with the Chiefs right now.
Sure.
I love their defense. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram coming off the edge, and a pretty solid secondary as well, led by Casey Hayward. They dealt with the Jason Verrett injury. I really like the way they're playing. The Chiefs, they did bounce back, but teams have been stacking the box and making Alex Smith try and beat them, and it hasn't worked out recently.
Wow. AFC West, Jason Ashworth, what do you got?
I'll
and the Raiders are right there too.
Yeah, I'm not buying the Raiders this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like the way Derek Carr's looking. I don't like that team.
Yeah,
the defense stakes.
I'll take the hot hand. And right now that's Phillip Rivers. And I believe, so they're 0-4. They'll make the playoffs theoretically if they do. And I believe one other team has made the playoffs after starting 0-4. Can you name that team? No.
See, that's the teaser I should have gotten.
You should have.
Yeah.
You didn't.
0-4 team has made the playoffs before.
And we've already said the name.
That's incredible.
The Chargers.
The Chargers were 0-4 and they already did it?
Yeah.
With Phillip or no?
No. It was not with Phillip.
Different?
Years ago. So, it was the old San Diego days, too. So, obviously, that's first thing
I might have already called him San Diego. I apologize.
So, and how many times are they going to do that on broadcast?
How good is Keenan Allen?
Oh, well,
They keep saying San Diego, and I get it, but I mean, after a time or two, it's like, come on, is nobody in your ear?
Well, Stink was doing
LA,
it the whole
I know,
damn
that's what I'm talking about. He said like 4 or 5 times.
2-minute warning in the fourth quarter is like San Diego.
And I get it. No, he played his career in Denver in the West, and he knows them as San Diego. I understand that, but
you know what you do then?
What were you doing all week?
You write it on a piece of paper and stick it to
just keep
right
saying
above.
the Chargers. You don't even say the city.
Too.
Right.
But
to your question, I'll take the Chargers just because they're the hot hand. They've got the momentum. And it's probably more of a product of I just don't buy into Oakland. I don't buy into Kansas City. That game was an ugly game in and of itself still.
Chiefs don't have the same defense as they had. Eric Berry is out. They've really had a lot of trouble at the number 2 cornerback spot. That's why they brought Darrelle Revis in. They've had Terrence Mitchell and who's the other guy? I don't even know the other guy's name, but they've been awful in their secondary besides Marcus Peters. So I don't like the Chiefs. I like the Chargers. Keenan Allen is probably the most underrated receiver in the league right now.
He's on
There's
my
new
squad.
sleeves in town.
On my squad.
Yeah.
Oh, you got
Love Keenan,
I
love
like the Chargers.
Well, he's staying healthy.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
honestly, when you
He had a great rookie year.
Yeah,
and he got
banged up.
Yeah.
And every year he seems to get banged up.
Savvy route
But
runner.
this year he's been able to stay healthy, and that's what he does when he's on the field. He's a difference maker.
College football. Let's go there for a second. Jason Ashworth, let me ask you this. This is off the top. Did they get it right with these Final Four?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I can see Ohio State.
I can't.
You can't?
Because what's a Big Ten championship? Obviously, it means nothing. If it meant something, Penn State would have made it last year.
They beat an undefeated team in that Big East champ or the Big Ten championship.
Okay.
Are the 4 best football teams playing right now?
Yes.
Then that's it.
Then you got it right.
That was their number 1 goal.
I know nobody wanted to see Alabama in it, and I get it. Alabama's one of the best.
They're favored.
They're favored. And I think they're going to win.
They're favored over everybody.
And I think they're going to win.
I don't.
I do.
I got them losing to Clemson up the jump.
I hope. What a great game, though.
Yeah.
What a great game.
Yeah.
Georgia,
and honestly,
Oklahoma, and
that's not necessarily the and I know because we'll always say that. Oh, that's really the championship game. It will be a championship type game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get to the championship, let's just say theoretically they're playing Oklahoma. That's going to be a great game.
Great game. Yeah.
And Oklahoma is not a shoo-in. I mean, that's going to be a tough game for Oklahoma.
Georgia's awesome. Yeah, Georgia's really good.
I feel the one game Georgia is good, but I feel like teams like Georgia, I feel like teams like Auburn. There's a couple SEC teams that when you watch them, one week they look unbeatable. They just look absolutely unbeatable. And the next week, and that's what struck Auburn, especially against Georgia, they just got smoked.
I've been riding Georgia. I've been riding Georgia since the beginning of the season. I felt like they looked good, and that Notre Dame win really pushed me over the edge. And then when they lost to Auburn at Auburn, I wasn't shocked. They got them back at the neutral site, and they won. Yeah, they won.
Smoked.
And homeboy from St. Joe's Prep.
Not Chubb.
Swift?
Swift.
Yeah. Whoa. Watch out now.
Right?
Watch out now. Freshman. Woo! My man is no joke.
Georgia, it's going to be about Raekwon Smith on Baker Mayfield and spying him.
Well, okay, it's funny you just brought up Baker Mayfield because I wanted to go there real quick. Quarterbacks next year. Baker Mayfield. I get it. He gets the Manziel comparisons because he's an idiot off the field. He was just arrested in February, running from the cops. Yeah. Whatever, but he's a white quarterback scrambling. He's going to hear it all day about Manziel. But the thing that strikes me more about Mayfield than anything over Johnny Manziel is he's got a cannon. He could sling it. I like Baker Mayfield. Would I take him in the first or second round? Hell no.
Well, you wait.
But he's going.
You wait.
He's going there.
No, it's not about
Tim
going.
Tebow got taken in the first
Well, you
round.
think he's that good?
It's irrelevant what I think.
Well, what do you think?
I'm telling you, I would not be surprised to see him as a top 15 pick.
No, not at all.
Oh, yeah.
At all.
Not at all.
We're not talking about second round. Second round is asinine. Get this guy in a combine. Get this guy in front of GMs, saying all the right things, showing that competitive fire. His skill set, while a little undersized, I mean,
6'2".
skill set, but he's
more, a hell of a lot more
he's
than
more
little.
in line with like your Drew Breeses of the world. No, because 6'2" isn't bad for a quarterback. It's really not. You want him to be 6'5". I understand that. It's when you get to that
I want my
5'11",
quarterback to be
6 foot.
Nate Sudfeld size. All right, I had to look at his name again.
All right,
yeah,
understood.
6'5".
No, but a 6'2" quarterback isn't the worst thing in the world. When you start getting to 6'1", 6 foot,
True.
5'11", like you get to that Drew Brees type height, and then they really start questioning you. But I would not be surprised at all because a lot of GMs, what they're saying now is I get it. Rosen's a nice quarterback. Right? And Darnold, okay, yeah, nice quarterback. I really like that Baker Mayfield guy. And all it takes is one guy. And once you think you've got the sleeper, or once you think, okay, he's going to sneak down to me in the 20s, okay, well, somebody else gets hip to it. Somebody else gets hip to it.
Now we got to get up and get him.
That storm starts, right? Yeah. And then you start fast-tracking everything. Somebody's going to jump on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and I don't know much about this other guy from, Wyoming? What is
Big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy. He's your 6'7". There's your 6'7" quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know much.
Struggle this year.
He should have came out last year.
He should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you got?
Sam Darnold,
and Josh Rosen from UCLA.
Yep.
Those are basically 1-2s. But let's go ahead and throw Lamar Jackson into this mix too, as well.
Interesting, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
a little Michael Vick there.
Am I crazy to say no? There's no Deshaun Watson with him. You don't see Deshaun Watson with him at all.
Honestly, he's a guy for me.
Or Russell Wilson type style.
I can't say no. I can't say yes. I can't say no. I feel like I still don't necessarily know who he is in an NFL-type game, and that's unfortunate.
With you. It's hard to pinpoint what
I don't really know what he can do because you're not. What he's doing in college is impressive, and the style of offense he's running in college, it really accentuates his skill set.
Yes,
right. They've used his skill set very well at Louisville. Yeah. I don't know how that translates. I know he has a ton of athleticism. He's actually a good quarterback with a great arm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't have my finger on the pulse in terms of what he really is at the next level. So I can't tell you. I honestly have no feel for him.
How about NFL mock drafts right now? Right?
Are they already out?
Oh, they're out. They're out the first week. You know
I
that.
haven't even looked yet.
You've got 2019.
Yeah, I bet you there is a 2019.
Walter Football Camp. Is that
Walter Football. Who the guy's from Northeast? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, this dude who created this website apparently he's local.
Wow.
Okay. I want to say the original guy was. I don't know if they still are. Whatnot. Anyways, they got Rosen going 1 to the Browns, 2 Lamar Jackson to the Giants.
Wow.
And then 3 Saquon.
Wow. Who do they have at the third spot right now?
For what, quarterbacks?
No, team.
49ers.
49ers taking Saquon. Well, bye-bye Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
I love Saquon, and I think he's going to be amazing at the next level.
Yeah.
And I thought he should have got an invite.
I was just going to ask you, should he have gotten an invite?
Jesus, yes.
I can understand.
Do they not invite 4 people ever?
No,
it's only 3.
No,
there's never been 4.
No, they've invited 4.
They vary it. It's
I feel like they've invited 4.
Yeah, I thought there's been 4 guys before.
It's usually 5, I think.
Saquon Barkley deserved an opportunity to be in New York.
I know he didn't come up big in some situations, and I know he may not have had some of the numbers that people wanted him to have in certain. And okay, that's all very, very valid. I get that. I'm a Penn Stater, but I'm not naive, right? I'm not an idiot here.
You're not Matt Lombardo.
Exactly, right?
I tweet.
I love that. I love that dude. I love that dude.
Oh, absolutely. I love Lombo too. He's a very opinionated bastard. And when you put yourself out there, it's going to come back.
Exactly.
And he came at me one Sunday afternoon. I'm like, my dad just died, and here comes a tweet at Lombo, like coming up the top rope out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? It was something about Saquon Barkley, and I'm just because we were splitting hairs over this. I said Zeke coming out of college to me just a step above. It's just a different level. Just not even a different level, but just a step ahead. That's all. And I think Saquon Barkley is a top 5 pick at that point in time. I said it. I just felt like Zeke is a guy that you can give the ball 25 times. Check out his numbers. I believe he averages like 23, 24 carries per game. Yeah. He's that type of guy. Saquon Barkley is not. He's not that dude. Can you get the football to him 25 times? You can't hand it off to him 25 times.
Why?
You're not going to.
Why?
Teams won't.
Why?
Teams won't.
But why?
Because I don't think he's got the body that could take that bill.
Oh, my goodness. That's probably modus operandi number 1.
And
he absolutely can.
And I know he's got the numbers with the squats and all that. All right, then prove it to me. Then show me. Show me at the next level, because these are boys that are out there to take your head off.
I mean, it's fair. Everybody.
Zeke goes like this. I haven't seen Saquon do that yet.
But didn't he have to prove it? Didn't Zeke have to prove that he could do it?
God.
I mean, because he certainly looked nice coming out of college, but we all sat there and said, go ahead, Dallas, take a running back. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And they did, and he showed out. Yeah. I'm telling you, Saquon Barkley is an NFL running back. He is a feature NFL feed me the rock running back.
But they're not going to hand it to him 25 times. Like I said, they can get it to him 20 times. Screens, throw it out, mix them up, But I don't think a team would say, let's line Saquon Barkley up 25 times straight. Let's go. Just hand him the rock 25 times. I don't think a team would do that. I don't know if that's
throughout
right
the course
or
of the
wrong.
game.
Well, the way the style is,
I
now,
just don't
okay,
see it.
I see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I do think
Zeke
he can.
Here's what I tell you. Here's what I tell you.
siding with Lombardo
Zeke is a step ahead as far as downhill running is concerned.
I think
And that's the difference. That's like a five,
physically,
but that's
or
like
speed.
The X factor here is the passing game and what
no
Barkley
doubt
can do out of the back.
No doubt. I get it. Totally.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
But I just think like that to me is like a 2 to 4 carry difference.
Who can you're at the 20-yard line.
Downhill.
Right? All right, we'll give you your downhill.
Zeke.
All right. Zeke is coming at you downhill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Saquon's coming at you downhill. Who do you think you have a better shot at getting down?
One's running your ass over. The other one's going to try and jump you.
No. I'm saying because you're talking about downhill, they're both trying to run your ass over. Which hit are you taking?
And like obviously, I'm gonna go with
You'd rather you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you know the size of his hamstrings?
And what did Zeke do his first year in the NFL?
Look, I'm not taking anything
What
away
did Zeke
from
do
Zeke.
in the final four?
Zeke.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from Saquon. So that's why I said we're splitting hairs here.
Okay.
I did say that off the jump, didn't I say that?
But you said But if you're splitting hairs, then you can't sit there and tell me that no NFL team would want to give Saquon the ball 25 times because that's not splitting hairs now.
Okay, that's fair. I still think he can get 20 touches, not 25. 20 touches.
Touches? Just touches? So you're saying he's going to get 15 rushes and 5 receptions?
I don't know. We'll
he's
see.
Better than that. Maybe his rookie year, I'll give you that. His rookie year, sure.
And I hope. And I love Saquon. I mean, to the point that we talked about, did they get the right call with the final 4 teams? Are these the best 4 teams? I think you can look at college football and say, we're the best 4 college football players, even though they only invited 3, right? There was only 3 total?
Correct.
They got it wrong. Like, you could have put Saquon in that mix. You could have said, these are the 4 best college football players.
At least give him
an
invite. And what I was saying earlier was, okay, I get it. He didn't have the biggest numbers in the biggest games that we wanted to see.
Yeah.
But at that point, we're taking out context. At that point, we're ignoring the fact that everybody and their brother knew that Saquon was the best player on the football field. And they went in there and said, every time they ran that read option, right, and didn't hand it off to Saquon, the defense said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We win. That's a win for us.
No, you're right.
So taking that into account, knowing that there was 8, sometimes 9 guys in the box, if not more, saying this 26 is not going to beat us, you got to take that into account. Numbers may not be there. I understand that. But at least give the guy an invite to show some respect. Look, we know. We understand. You're one of the best 4 college players in the nation.
Without a doubt.
And he didn't get that.
And it was BS that he didn't get it. 2 quick ones on the way out here. LeVar Ball and his situation with his 2 sons. They're playing in Lithuania, which I don't know if they're still wearing the tie-dye jerseys or not. I used to own a say it to me. Say it
Lithuania.
To me. Lithuania. There you go. Thank you. I used to own one of their jerseys in like 1996. It was the Grateful Dead tie-dye, yeah. Bill Walton, I think, was on the front. Anyways, and they're going there. They're playing. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I think everyone's going crazy, and I'm not a big LeVar Ball type of fan, but I don't have a problem with it. I really don't.
LeVar Ball, this conversation to me, it's such – he is either the biggest jackass in the world, right?
Which I would have said yes.
Or just the best damn father in the world. And I know that sounds asinine to say that, but if you can't, just theoretically, if as a father you can't trump your kid and be proud of your kid and act like your kid does no wrong and put him on a pedestal as a father and protect him at all costs, and he doesn't, and I understand you got to be a parent.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be a parent. But as a father, shouldn't I think that my son is the best thing since sliced bread? Because that's mine. That's my kid. Yeah. That's my son. If I can't be your biggest fan as your father, then who will be? So,
but this is different.
Biggest jackass.
This is different.
I get it.
He pulled his kid out of UCLA. He wasn't kicked out of school. He went through a lot of shit with that, with the shoplifting in China. Yeah. They didn't throw him out. They still allowed him to go to practice, I believe. Still allowed him to go to classes. He said, "No, you're coming. We're going to put you over there." His 16-year-old.
That's where
that's where
I started leaning towards the jackass.
Yeah, it's hey man. But here's what I know: those kids are going to go down there, play maybe a half a year, and they got the support of the basketball community. They're looking at those kids like, "Yo, do your thing, man.
Yep.
Go." And more power to them. It's just. Now
it's uncomfortable for us. It's not status quo.
Yep,
it's not the way you're supposed to do things.
Yep.
We all know these kids are going to college to get to the NBA, but God forbid this guy gets them to some real competition overseas, starts getting paid a little bit, right? For I'm going to give you my services. I'm going to make sure these kids get paid a little bit.
And as long as the kids,
this is the Emmanuel Moutier
route,
absolutely. The Brandon Jennings route. Yeah. Like it's not like it hasn't been done before.
And the kids are going to have fun. That's all there is to it. And that's all. That's honestly the way I look at it. It's like, all right, as long as those kids want to go, I have no problem with this. Not like LeVar's going, you're going across seas and that's it.
Right.
I'm pulling your ass out of UC. Like, nah, they said, you know what? I'm not playing basketball this year. Screw it. Let me out. And then I got one more here. I can't read right there. What is that? What's that?
Which one? Phillies, Manny Machado?
Oh, that's what it was.
Machado.
Thank you.
Machado.
Jesus.
Machado.
I'm like, whoa, my goodness. I can't read my own writing. Manny Machado, finally, will end on this note. The Phillies, or the Orioles are talking about Orioles. They are talking about getting rid of him because obviously next year he is going to be a free agent. So they're willing to part with him right now, which makes no damn sense. I mean, you go into this season, he's your best player. How are you going to get rid of your best player because you think he's going to walk? How many times have we seen players stay, at the end of their contract and so on and so forth, unless they know something behind the scenes saying, man, he's out, whatever. But the Phillies,
which usually that's what it means.
Yeah, and dude, he had an off year last year, 33 and 95.
Yeah,
that was an off year for Manny.
Yeah.
Do you give up anything to get him?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think
they're
it's
not
that
going to give them to you.
No, I'm talking about prospects.
No, I'm saying that's what I mean. They're not going to give them to you.
And
so
we
you
know
got to
about
give
the
up
list
something.
of prospects.
The question is, what do you give up? What do you do with Franco? What does it mean for the rest of the team? What do you? Because I like him, I do. And are you when you trade for him? Do you have the confidence that he will sign long term? So to me, there's a lot of and look, we've been talking about this for 3 years.
That last part is the most important one.
Can you sign
extension?
Can you lock him up?
Yeah.
Now, there's been so much chatter between Manny Machado and coming to the Phillies, or they have interest in him, and blah. Every year we're talking about the same thing. So it makes sense that. Okay, at the winter meetings here, we're talking about it again. But there's just so many variables. I mean, I'll give up prospects.
Yeah.
I
think we've learned that over
prospects
the
are prospects.
Decade. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how many
Give me a proven guy.
Let's revisit those Doc Holliday days and Cliff Lee and remember those names. It's like, wait.
You want Don Brown?
Yeah.
Sure? Nobody?
Yeah. Remember, he was untouchable. He was untouchable.
Yeah. You know who the number 2 prospect was that year? Don Brown was the number 1 prospect in minor league baseball. You know who number 2 was? Trout.
Was he really?
Oh, wow. Man.
Could you imagine just at that time if you just said, yeah, you know what, we'll take the local boy, we'll flip him. How different the Phillies organization could look right now.
Yeah, night and day. Yeah. Shout out Mike Trout. He just got married.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, it's high school sweetheart. High school sweetheart.
It's a shame.
How are things going in your world, Ashley?
Yeah, I kid. I joke.
Woo! Hey, my wife's upstairs. I love her. She just made one hell of a dinner. I can't wait to eat. Speaking of eating, that's what we did here today. Boys, had a blast. Ashley, great stuff as always. Please let the people know where they can find you. What do you got going on? Go.
No, I just do a podcast right now with your boy Ron Burke.
Damn right.
Any given sports day. It's usually throughout the week. It changes. We like to stay flexible with it, but it's on Wildfire Radio Network. Sports show is called Any Given Sports Day.
And shout out those Wildfire boys, man. They got like freaking 100 shows over there.
Yeah.
They're doing good, man. You go over to Jersey to record it?
I do.
Nice. I was over there.
It's a bit of a drive.
Yeah, it is a drive.
It is a drive. Yeah,
it's a bit of a drive.
I mean,
I don't get reimbursed for fuel.
No, it's Jersey. It's Jersey.
I do fuel up there though.
Yes,
so I do take that.
Damn
Every
right.
time I'm in Jersey, I fuel up.
Yeah. And make sure you follow Jason at @allashworth on Twitter and of course all the platforms. Right?
Yeah,
same thing. Adrian Fedku, go.
What's up? Check out the Bitter Birds.
Hey guys.
Hey man. Adrian Fedku. I've been here for a minute.
The Bitter Birds on YouTube. Check it out. I did a show with EDP yesterday, so you can imagine.
EDP.
Imagine how negative that show was.
Yeah, he does. He does a show with him.
I do a show with him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reaction it normally gets.
Is he a friend of the show?
No, he's a friend of
mine.
Yeah, he's a friend of Adrian's.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He's a guy that absolutely, like, what the hell? Like, it just went. He came out of nowhere.
He has no trust in the team because of all the times he's been heartbroken.
Yeah, but is he real though? That's the question.
No,
he's not
answer's
real.
no.
No,
and I'm teetering a fine line right now because he's your friend, and I want to be respectful of your friend. I really do.
Do you watch him? So you're
I
up?
want to punch him in the throat.
There's a lot of people
every
that feel
time I
that same
see
way.
him.
Yeah, like when he went to the Cowboys training camp and was wiping his ass.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I can't believe he walked out of there alive. Because if that ever happened, first of all, you're not getting in the building in Philly.
Right.
Like they won't even let you in the building with anything Dallas on. You out of your mind.
Yeah.
But no, you're right.
Just do me a favor. Do me a favor. I can stomach him.
Sure.
If you just tell. Stop trying to be Tommy Toughnuts for no reason. Like, stop with all the cursing and stopping the F-bombs. And, like, it's not working for me. It's not working for me.
It was, like, for the first 6 months, but now.
He is toned down.
Has he?
He does tone down on my
good.
show. So he on my show, he's a little bit more normalized. Okay. And we actually
Maybe
have
it's just YouTube videos.
we have like legitimate conversations.
Oh,
so
okay.
I like getting his side of things though because he's so negative and it's just a different perspective.
Hey, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, good for you.
By the way, to answer your question from earlier, because we're going to forget about it, the teaser.
Yeah, go.
Joel Embiid and LeVar Ball, that's my podcast.
Oh, shit. We were about to forget about
They're close.
it. Well,
Those dudes are actually tight.
no. Yeah.
They're rivals.
They just saw each other, and then Embiid was like, yo, I just met LeVar.
Yeah.
Oh, my
But
God.
I'm saying they're not. I don't think that. Are they bitter with each other?
No.
Okay,
no,
so
no.
you want bitter rivals.
Yeah, all right, so hold
Yeah.
up. Thank you. I almost forgot about that. What the hell?
Bitter
This is my
rivals.
question. This is my question.
Well, now I gotta think about it again.
Hansborough and Henderson are doing a podcast together, talking about Duke versus UNC rivals. I absolutely love it. Who are some of the rivals that you want to hear? Give me one pair. Ashworth, did you think about it? Let me know.
You know what? No, I didn't
You
think
didn't?
about it.
Here's mine. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
For some odd reason, I want to be in the trenches. Strahan and Runyon.
Dude,
Strahan and Runyon.
that came to my head.
All right.
I think that would be a great show because
Yes.
both guys are well spoken. They have
Absolutely.
a lot of history. They got a lot of
Oh,
track.
yeah.
They've seen a lot of shit.
Yes.
Right?
Give me Strahan and Runyon.
That's a good one.
Podcast,
Interesting.
rivals, buttonheads. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like personalities.
Let's
And
go.
that's where I was trying to think of if I could go back in the day and take like an Ali and Frazier and bring them forward to just get Ali's
Sure.
personality on a podcast.
Pretty damn good. Oh my God, could you imagine
But
that?
I don't, you know what? I do like. I don't know why. but
Buddy Ryan and Jim Johnson.
Jimmy
Buddy
Rollins,
Ryan and Jeff Fisher.
Jimmy Rollins, and Paula Duca from the Mets heydays. Yes, I'd love to see those two talk about those days.
Who else we got?
I think a realistic one that you could get would be Prime and Irvin.
I'm sure that, yeah.
I think that's a realistic one, and I actually like those guys.
Yeah.
I like listening to them, so that'd be a podcast.
Yo,
I'd
what
be
the hell's going on at the NFL Network?
Yo,
Jeez.
did you see what was actually said?
Oh.
And I don't know. I'll keep it. From,
No,
from
I
the
mean,
show.
that's fine. Yeah,
No, they
I
had,
did.
like, they had quotes.
Yeah, Deadspin had it all.
Yeah.
Yo, did you see what McNabb said?
All right, well, hang on. Hang on. Yeah.
Everybody's
squirter.
shooting their shot over there.
All right, so hold up. For the people who maybe don't know, and we'll wrap up on this. We'll go 2 quick minutes on this. So I'm wondering if you know this or not. So NFL Network had a makeup artist. She was, she came out and she said that she was.
You want to say her name?
Go ahead.
It's like, what is it, Jamie Contra or Conti or something like that?
Yeah.
Jamie Conti or something?
So here's my
I
question.
need to know what this girl looks
Here's
like.
my question, though.
Yeah.
Did she never hook up with these guys?
I'm biting my tongue.
No?
I'm biting my tongue.
So,
because
like-
I don't know.
No, I don't
Yeah,
know
we
either.
don't.
All
I
I
have
saw
no idea.
today was text messages and all
Right.
that. I have a hard time believing that these all 7 dudes
Right.
are typing this stuff up
Right.
and not
And
getting
nothing's
it.
happening.
And nothing's happening.
Marshall
in return.
Falk, instead of saying hi, just went up and grabbed her breast and smacked her in the ass. That
And-
came out of nowhere.
And like, you know,
Hey, put some makeup on.
hey, yeah, and
What?
and,
How does
and
that
you know what?
happen?
And there are freaks out there, these asshole dudes that probably do act like that. Marshall doesn't strike me as that type of guy. I get what you're saying, but I'm even going a little bit deeper because of the text messages. Like exactly what you said. McNabb said this, or
What did he say?
Yeah, McNabb was tossing around some craziness. Heath Evans sent her a picture. He's married.
That's what I mean.
He's married.
Yeah.
So like nobody was hooking up. Like they weren't hooking up with each other. They were just firing this text message.
I don't know. It's such a sensitive topic because
It is.
I don't want to
Unless there was,
discredit
like, a
anything
bet
that she's
going
saying.
around.
I just don't.
I think, but see, in the NFL Network, I thought did some digging, obviously, and investigating.
Right.
And then they said, okay, well, obviously there's something happening here, so now we're going to suspend everybody.
Yeah.
You better do that at least.
Absolutely.
Look, I didn't think Al Franken should have stepped down. I thought that he was going through a process. And the next thing, he's a state senator from Minnesota. Next thing, he's stepping down. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, wait, we got due process in this country.
That was considered the source one for me with him with the whole Leanne Tweeden thing and
like, like, all right, look, I'm fine with believing you off the jump, but then we got to take process. Steps here.
To me, with this, where there's smoke, there's fire.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
And there's enough people listed and enough fact to sit here and say, okay, well, that's not right. Something's up. That's not right.
Absolutely.
The weird part is that all these dudes, they just kept sending messages.
Every story is crazy,
nothing was getting reciprocated. Nothing was.
That's my question.
You were never told. Like, that's where I'm just, with your point,
and then what happens after that?
Like, well, you just sent the message and then nothing, and that was that?
Like, all right.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. And I have a funny feeling we're going to learn a lot more from this point on.
I hope to, because I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm interested. This is box office right now.
Yeah.
McNabb like squirters. Anyways. And that's the name of my podcast for next year. We're coming out with that one. Jason Ashworth, Adrian Fedke, good stuff as always.
Appreciate
boys.
it,
Great
buddy.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
Everybody check it in. Appreciate that as well. Until next time, we'll talk to you. Go Birds against the Giants without Carson Wentz. We still believe, Dan.
Run the ball, clock management.
We still believe.
Run the ball, damn it. Do it. It's going to work.